up to Grove Ferry and the tide's going out, so this is the first time I've been out this year. The weather's been so grim, quite windy today, but I've got the sail on board. So let's see if we can get something different and see how the river's changed. As you can see, the tide's just on the turn now, so it's going to be a little bit hard getting up to Fordwich, but we'll see how we go. You wouldn't really believe it's windy, would you? It doesn't look like a breath of wind here. But of course, as soon as you get into certain areas where it's a bit more exposed and the wind can blow up the river, then after that it's quite drafty, which is why I put the sail on board. Nice to hear the birds again, and I've just put the sail away. Just had a brief area up the river where I could actually use it. I went quite fast actually, but I can't put the camera on really because it means that I've got to keep it up, and I don't like being out of control. I like to keep the paddles in my hands when I've got the sail up, just in case something untoward happens. I think we've had quite a high tide today, looking at the edges of the riverbank. So that means that the tide itself, when it's fully turned, it's just turned a while ago, and it's hard getting upstream at the moment, but it's going to be a darn sight harder when the tide fully turns if there's a lot of water in the river. But it's fantastic. It's nice to be back on the river again and actually listen to the sounds of the wind in the trees. Absolutely breathtaking. At last spring has arrived. Hiya, enjoyed it? Yeah, you're coming down with the for the tide now, so it's a lot better.
Ah, good. Nice day for it.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I heard the sound of a cuckoo a few minutes ago. It was on the previous video, but I don't think you would have heard it above the conversation. Yes, here it goes. Don't know if you can hear it. I'll boost the sound if I can, but I've got a plane in the distance now. I'll try and do it in a minute. No, unfortunately the cuckoo's gone. Worth a try. Get up the sail in a moment and see how we go. Got a little bit of a stretch here and might be able to make some headway. Right, let's see what happens. One thing I can usually do when I'm going upstream is I can look for the calmer areas of water, i.e. where there's not so much current, and you can usually do that by looking at the debris that's floating down. But with this wind, and there's so many ripples on the surface of the water, I can only judge it and use experience on what side of the river to use, especially on the corners. The tide is getting stronger now as the water starts to go out. I think we've had 6 metre tide, so it's quite high, hence the amount of water that's got to drain from here, and it can get quite fast. In all honesty, can you beat this? Isn't it beautiful? While I remember, this is for Thomas over in Maui. Remembered the glasses, remembered the gloves, and I remembered the hat. Hey! Oh dear, I'm getting there. I always think this river is amazing, bearing in mind that all of the stone of Canterbury Cathedral had to come up this river. Up here, no motors, just sail and oars. And it used to come all the way up from France, and it used to come up to Fordwich. And although this river is nowhere near as wide as it once was, it's following a piece of history just coming up here. A lot of people might not know that. And if you get the chance, please go to Fordwich Town Hall. It's one of this, I think it's the smallest in the UK. I have done a video of it on my site if you're interested, but it's certainly worth going in there. And it's one of the sink ports as well, and it's alloyed with sandwich, so it's got a lot of history. It's a quaint old village, it really is. So it's worthwhile going to have a look. Got my rapid up sail up, still the best I think around, and even on the river it has its uses. I'm not going fast, but I'm going against the current, and there's hardly any breeze in this particular place, but still moving quite happily. I have changed the design on this, sewn on my own connections to the sail, also some Velcro on. Very, very simple to take down, and even on the river it's useful. Yeah, I'm just lazy, I suppose, but you can see I'm still making headway. Look, still moving along quite happily, not going fast. So, get a bit of wind there. That's because I haven't got the straps right, but there you go, look, they're moving all right. There you go. Give you an idea how it goes if you get a little bit of wind. But I need to hold both sides of the sail stay. Otherwise, it can be a bit of a problem. I like keeping control and keeping the paddle as well. I think it's important to have that. But not enough to cause you to panic if you get hit by a wind, and it folds up if you get a blast of wind from the wrong direction, so it won't capsize you. Very, very safe, and I'm well pleased with this, and of course it can be taken down in a matter of seconds. There we go, got a bit of breeze now. Let's have a look and see how we go. There we go. Yeah, we're moving quite fast now, but it won't last long, of course, because on the river you don't get good winds, and it tends to be here one moment and gone the next. But you can see, look, we're not doing bad. We're not doing bad at all. There you go, look. Bear in mind that we're going upstream as well, So we're going against the tide here. So it's quite useful to have. The other thing about it, of course, is you could say I'm getting old. So I'm getting lazy, so why paddle if you've got a sail? Oh dear. It's a lot easier, plus you can hear the birds better. One thing that's interesting as well, as I'm doing another selfie, it's remarkable how little wind it needs to actually keep you moving on a kayak. I thought the sail wouldn't be much good because it's not very large, but in actual fact you don't need a lot of wind to actually power you along at a reasonable speed. You're not going to go mad with a sail that's only might be, I don't know, 1.5 metres square or whatever it is, but you can make reasonable headway, and I think it's brilliant and safe. There you go. Free energy going upstream. With all the flies there. Don't get bitten though, thank goodness. You can see how fast the story is flowing now. Getting very close to Fordwich now. You can see the church spire has grown somewhat. We've got a water level monitoring station on the side here. I bet that's seen some floods over the past few years. That's the Fordwich Old Town Hall. It's a shame that there's a van parked in front of it, because that's it, the town hall. And that gibbet there was used to unload cargo for Canterbury, because of course in the days before railways and roads being dismal, the only way that you could really get things around was by boat. And they used to travel up here, and that used to be what used to unload them. And that's me lot. So what I'm going to do is have me sandwiches, and then after that I'll have to get going back downstream.